Can you hear it loud? The world is ready. Stand up proud. Your story is power. Your passion's the spark. With Innovate AI and i3, you'll leave your mark.
So it's interesting when we talk about human connection because I think it gives us the ability to amplify it. Some of you heard earlier me mention the AI with empathy tool I helped a company develop out of California a couple of years ago. AI is still not there, and that ability to connect, the creativity and everything else, you're irreplaceable, you're unique, the brain wiring, yes, there's things that will happen. I do some fractional work for a company, and with the sales training and stuff that we do, you'll hear a little bit more indirectly about that. But one of the things, to Hank's point, I'm like looking at, as a business strategist with the work I was doing with them, looking at their go-to-market and what they're doing. And I'm like, what is your plan in the field? Like people actually knocking on doors. And I think since COVID, like people forgot about like that opportunity to actually connect and do that. And this organization has had huge success. It's multi-channel in terms of the outreach and obviously leveraging AI tools for that and identifying the leads and everything else. But then doing that and then the high touch human connection, another company that actually packages things that are sent, like goodies or theme things, baskets and cookies and whatever's relevant for their business, but like lumpy mail is what they call it. That gets people's attention versus like all the other crap you get in the mail that just goes in the circular file, right? But like people were shocked when they started doing this as the sales team, going out and actually walking into a business and having a conversation like, oh my God, there's a person here. What do we do? Has a person walk in here since, since whatever, COVID. So at any rate, I really appreciate Hank's point, and I think increasingly, as I shared before, the power skill is going to be human connection, and I think leveraging AI to do that and making human-centric AI is so important for us as a society, right? As a civilization, to be able to do that, to preserve the humanity. So with that, appreciate your patience. We want to talk about how you can build incredibly large companies using AI. And I think part of it is, it goes back to this opportunity to leverage time, really, and what these tools can do. For some of you who weren't here, I'll just, a short story. Recovered academic after earning a PhD at Boulder, being a business professor, business school dean, chief academic officer, and those types of things around. How do we help people learn? And actually, John Nesbitt said it back with Megatrends. The most important skill of the future is learning how to learn. And so I invite you to think about that, because I have seen so many programs, and many that I started at universities decades ago, that like that field no longer even exists. It's sort of strange to think about some of the things that, like the fads, but ultimately the ability to adapt is what differentiates us from other organisms on this planet, going back to Darwin, survival of the fittest. So the more that you can adapt to the changes, the better off. And I think leveraging the both and of the human connection and the ability, even I've led remote teams for decades, and whether it's office space or remote or in co-working spaces, CBRE does an amazing job in creating environments where people want to connect in ways that you can't replace those water cooler conversations, and creating spaces where you can feed off. And yes, you can do some of that virtually, but it's just not the same. And I've used some very high sophisticated technologies to bring everybody together, including 3D worlds and other things like that, just don't quite get there. But the one thing I want to mention real quickly is if you haven't checked in, I encourage you to do so, both on the door, and you'll see these CSW check-in things. What that will do is give you an invitation to then go through a process we're basically gamifying Colorado Startup Week with Ignite with AI Challenge, which will give you access as well, if you'd like, to all the recordings. I know some of you haven't been able to be here, but not only for today. If you want to select some, we're going to be on Larimer Street tomorrow at another event center. If you want those recordings, do that. But more importantly, we're encouraging you to share what you're learning, because a lot of people don't have a clue what AI is. Think about it. It's like so easy. I was at the grocery store, and I'll tend to like, just random, like person behind me, are you using AI? And they're like, what? I've heard of AI. What is it? Like, and we forget, like so many of us, based on the show of hands, are using all sorts of AI tools. Like we're still that early adopters, right? We haven't, in the diffusion of innovation, Everett Rogers, that curve, we're not even with the early majority yet. We haven't crossed, it's the innovators and stuff. We haven't crossed the chasm yet with AI. So you should congratulate yourself for being here, for being interested, but I invite you to share it and do it through social media. And we invite you to tag. There's also a cool kiosk for selfies. We have a mixer tonight at Lucky Strike on 16th Street Mall. I know there's a couple of activities, but we'd love to see you and have an opportunity to network with you there more. But ultimately, when you register after the self-check-in, you'll get this information. You can also scan this link. It'll give you the ability to register, and then as he's taking pictures around throughout the day and lunch and everything else, over there, Murphy's Photos, want to shout out to him, and also to Graham Johnstone from Black Stove Studios, who's filming all this. You'll have the opportunity to find your picture. It'll actually, facial recognition, pull up and create your own photo album. Then you can actually download those pictures too, but you can just share them out, and you can click a link and it'll pull up all your social media. So that's some logistics, getting that out of the way. So I think we're awakening to AI, right? It's so powerful, and there is still this great divide when we think about what is going on. And ultimately, I think we see it, and we've seen it throughout history with companies that continue to grow, and then maybe they get in trouble because it's a monopoly, right? They're so large, we got to break them up. I shared earlier, my dad was one of those with the Baby Bell system, like, you know, Western Electric and AT&T, and they got broken up, Southwestern Bell, because they were just too big. But part of it is looking at, like, what does this look like for organizations as they scale, and using AI technology to do so. You know, what will happen to small businesses that don't adopt AI? And I shared this earlier for what the AI book writing tool that we developed with the leading publisher. He's working on Peter Diamandis' next book. And Peter said, by the end of this decade, 2 types of companies, those that exist, and those will be the companies using AI, and those that are not using AI, and they will not exist. So I invite you to think about it. Now, granted, there's certain professions, occupations, although robotics is definitely emerging. I was just at a workforce development thing last Thursday, and a lot of governmental leaders talking about, you know, like the trades and the skilled trades and electricians, plumbers, things like that. But even so, with 3D printing and other things like that, there's a lot that is definitely changing. And so, you know, the AI companies, I think, will dominate. And I think, again, the market opportunity, when you look at $2.6 trillion in the next 4.5 years, that's a big number, right? This isn't a trend, it's not a fad. As Hank pointed out, like, this is here to stay. It's like the internet. We first thought, oh, that was cool. And I remember it because I was at a research university at the time, and I had it years before, like, most of you had it. But it's like, okay, like, yes, this is transformative. And I think when you look at your business and the power of AI and how to do it, ultimately, a lead generation. And people ignoring emails and texts and things like that that he was alluding to. Most businesses, 61%, that's their biggest challenge, is generating leads. And tomorrow with one of the AI agents, we'll show some of the things we're doing to help that be like on an easy button in terms of lead generation. But the manual process, right? That's so critical. Like, we spend a lot of time doing manual things that actually should be automated if we could, rather than doing them ourselves, or maybe hiring someone from Fiverr or other systems that we were talking about. And then, you know, how do you scale and what are the bottlenecks? And having been with companies that were startups to billion-dollar companies, I've seen firsthand the challenges of scaling. And even in the education sector, like launching an online university that grew to tens of thousands of students or even 100,000 students. Like, how do you scale and grow without systems? Anyone know the acronym for system? Anyone know the name acronym? No? Yeah. SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, close. What I'm talking about is the word systems. It's a fun mnemonic, is save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. When you have a systems that can do that, it makes life easy, right? It's like that easy button at Office Depot. And so I think when you look at that, there's a way of doing it and a way of leveraging AI to look at the different aspects of business. And when you look at the operations side of things, how do you look at the process flow? And I'm dating myself, but back in the 90s, I was teaching TQM, Total Quality Management, obviously lean and things like that, to MBA students. And it was like all the rage, operations management and logistics. And I spent a lot of time looking at industrial engineering when I was at UPS a long time ago too. But ultimately that pipeline and the process flow, the workflows, the customer flows, really understanding all those things, AI gives us an unseen opportunity that we've never experienced in terms of connecting with customers in different ways, still augmented by human capacity, but the ability to collect information and understand their priorities, whether it's through conversational AI or other things like that, is at an all-time high in terms of what we can create and then how we can sequence things in terms of moving someone. Traditional marketing models, maybe like awareness to interest to desire to actually action, where they like buy a product. All of these tools can come together to create that ecosystem along with that human touch and that actual conversation with an individual, going to lunch and doing those things. So, but what if you could have an AI system that just printed money, that was self-managing? How many of you would like that, to be able to do that, right? Be pretty cool. And so there's, AI agents, there's smart funnels, there's predictive analytics, there's things around reputation management. There's a lot of different things that you can do. When we look at this, and, tomorrow I'll share some of the agents we've built for all sorts of different aspects of, business intelligence to operations, logistics, marketing, just different ecosystems that allow you, like the lead acquisition and things like that, to help you do it in an easy way. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time because I think some of you heard me talk about Canva earlier, like the best kept secret in terms of what's out there, is having an opportunity to understand that there's some tools that you don't need 20 different tools to do something, right? We were talking about how do you curate, how do you figure out what I can do to leverage my business. So, and I really think about, the results that you can get when you do these. And these are some examples of, these aren't theoretical. These are some things that have happened where people, when they implement an AI system, can 10x and go from a lowly $50,000 marketing agency to a $500,000 company in literally a year and a half. Like, that would be nice to do, right? E-commerce stores, and I know there's people that are involved maybe selling products, but increasing the customer lifetime value, what you can do if you use Amazon or Netflix. I mean, about the personalization, but now you can do that in an easier way. And even with service businesses, being able to reduce your customer acquisition cost. How much money are you spending? What's your lead acquisition cost? What are your conversion rates? If you could reduce your customer acquisition cost while doubling your conversion rates through intelligent lead scoring, would that be helpful? I've had people that I've worked with that had to stop their marketing spend because things were increasing so fast they couldn't scale. And this was years ago even, because they couldn't hire fast enough. But now you've got AI agents that can do that in a way that's really powerful. So you can look at how do you build a moat with AI that can really protect what you're doing in a way. And again, I mentioned this earlier, speed to market is so key, and not getting stuck in paralysis by analysis, because someone else is going to move if you don't do it. And again, are you going to regret that if you don't? And the data advantage is now you've got everything you need if you know how to ask and research and find the information so you can make informed decisions. As someone that loves data and analytics, I used to tell my clients, I said, you know what, in God I trust, you need to bring me data, and then I'll tell you what's going on. But ultimately, I think it's understanding your ability to have unprecedented amounts of data is at an all-time high, and the scale where you can grow now without, as Hank was talking about, that 80, 50 or whatever the percentages are of labor versus capital shifting, where you don't have to significantly increase your costs to be able to do that, while your competition are struggling with manual processes. Because if you're not doing it, I'm talking to them and they're thinking, oh my God, yes. Like, this is where we need to be going to have superhuman efficiency, in essence, in a way that we can outperform the competition. So, and I want to share one tool, and someone called it out earlier, and I think it's like Canva. It's go high level. So thank you. I don't know if she's still in here. Yes, she is. Thanks, Liz. You know, I think when you look at it, it's an all-in-one platform that eliminates integration nightmares, data silos, things of that nature. It can be white labeled. There's a lot of people doing that, creating agencies. But it's also a self-improving AI. A lot of people don't recognize that about that. And it's something I started using a couple of years ago. But it is a powerhouse. And I want to call out the fact that graciously, when we talk about go high level, just a few things, because it's really an integrated tool set. And I'm going to invite somebody up in just a minute to share a little bit more about it. But there's over 600,000 businesses that are using high level to revolutionize their operations, their stream flow, accelerate growth in the market. But it's got a powerful CRM suite. It's integrated social media management, marketing automation to convert, seamless integration, scalability, reputation management tools, super easy to use funnel and website builders, and even agency partnership that you can get for support through them. So when we look at those things, what I want to do, and I really appreciate it because I put him on the spot because he's my go-to when we do projects with organizations that involve go high level. So I want to invite up DJ Atchison. And he walked in and I said, DJ, oh my God, you're here. Like, let's just show some people. He's like, nah, and give him some latitude because he doesn't work on a Mac. So that was his fear. I'm a Mac lover.
Oh, you Apple people.
But I know it is like that. But I am a diehard Apple ecosystem person. So thank you for being gracious enough to come up here so you can enlighten these people about the power of...
Can you sort that screen for me too?
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you. That would be helpful.
Is it okay to turn this thing on now without us echoing?
Yeah, please do.
All right, good, guys. I don't think we won't need that. Can everybody hear me okay? I actually am really loud, so that's okay. Well, I'm super excited. Eric and I, we spent a lot of time talking AI together. We spent a lot of time working together on different projects, and he's like, hey, what do you think about showing people some next level stuff in high level? So I'm really curious, how many of you even have any idea what high level is? Okay, so yeah, that's actually more than I thought would be. Who's going to Dallas? Yeah, who's going to Dallas, right? High level has become extremely...
Try using your mic now.
Okay.
I think it'll be all right. Thank you.
Yeah. They got me on so many of these things. No, I think I'll just let it roll. That echoes crazy. All right, so when he said, hey, let's go just show people, right, what AI can really do. I work with a lot of businesses who say, okay, what does that actually mean? What is high level actually all about? And so how many of you right now find yourself as a business owner using multiple tools to bring your CRM together, to bring your financials together, to bring your marketing together, to bring all of your communications, conversations together? I could go on and on and on and on, right? So we're having an opportunity, I think in about a week or so, to really dive in and help people with high level. And a couple things I really like to show people is this tool does everything from, think of it as like everything from your, like the very start of your business to your contacts to the very end result of creating a customer experience that's fully integrated within your business, right? So just a couple things, and then this was something that Eric brought up to me that he thought would be interesting to show to you guys is AI is getting so good now that even within this tool, you can do voice AI, which you can load either conversation AI or voice AI, and you can train the model and say, I need you to do exactly these things with my customers. At this trigger point, let's say, for instance, they answer a form on your website. This AI kicks in, it has a voice conversation that you've trained it on, and then within seconds, it's having a conversation with that potential customer. You can set up another action where it'll load it into this database as an opportunity. It'll build an entire sales pipeline for it, and it'll ultimately put a tag on it and start to track that customer for you. And I know I don't have a ton of time, and he was like, just try to make this work. So hold on one second.
You're good on time. You're good on time. It's actually, so for some of you, well, for most of you, there's sort of like a lunch hour. So depending on how hungry you are, what your plans are, if we go a couple minutes over, you still got time.
There we go. All right, so I think the other thing is you guys want to see automations, right? Hey, Eric, So your Apple keeps duplicating my windows, which is awesome.
What's it doing?
It's just duplicating the window over and over.
Try to open it up and see.
Blame Eric on the fact I told him I didn't want to use a Mac.
No, it's all good. It's duplicating your window.
Yeah, so I need to get back to the window that's right below it.
Okay, let's see this. Hang on a second.
This is what happens when people don't use each other's computers.
Well, let's try closing it for a minute. I don't know. Let me
Cool.
see what you
Let's
did.
just see what happens. All right, cool. So I think I wanted to get back to automations. So if I can, let's see if it'll let me load it. Cool. All right, so under workflows, like a lead automation, I know a lot of you are going, well, what in the world does that even look like? So how many of you have heard of like N8N or all these others like Zapier, right? So the ability that we have within high level is, let's say, so this is an example of you created a landing page survey, right? Somebody submitted their information. What happens next is, you guys can see right here. So under a create, update, or opportunity, it would create, based on this workflow, it would create the opportunity in the system. It would add a tag to it. It would send them an internal notification to somebody like on your team within your company. We need to be on top of this person. We need to go back and make sure that we know that this person's information's in the system and who's following up with it. So if you have a sales team or a care team. And then from there, I don't think I have a ton of them on below it, but you can keep adding action after action after action. So people are like, what do you mean by how does AI help my business? You can literally say as a business owner, if somebody comes to like my website or a landing page or an ad and fills out the information, a system like High Level will literally automate everything from the very start of them filling out the form to, I guess what I would say is like the best experience possible for them to get not left, I guess, behind, or the challenge of not connecting with somebody right away. Does anybody have any questions on that part?
I'm interested just on my personal entrepreneurial level, but I'm part of a big corporate. And so can you make this sync up with Salesforce if you have like admin privileges? Is there a workaround for that?
So the answer and the short answer to that is yes. So High Level is known to be extremely flexible with, as you guys are learning, like MCPs and being able to connect outside of High Level. So the short answer to that would be yes, but you would want to customize it to make sure to pull that information in. So, yep. All right, cool. I think the last thing that I would just take the opportunity, because I know that, hold on one second. I'm going to hit the wrong one again.
Sorry, is High Level, are you positioned as like an N8N or make them, what would?
I think the best way to explain High Level is it's so universal that you can put N8N or Zapier or any of the other, what they call like connectors into it, and it'll fully function with outside data. The only thing I would just make sure everybody hears on is QuickBooks Online is still your best resource for financials to pull into High Level if you're looking for it as a business, meaning it doesn't have its own financials inside the system.
So what is High Level?
So High Level is an ecosystem from the very beginning. And Eric, can you help me for just a second? I'm sorry. I will learn how to use a Mac.
Yes, that would be good. I used to use
You know, the funniest part is my computer's in my bag over there, and he's like, oh, you should just take it out. I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. We'll get through this.
You want to go back to what?
Yeah, can you just get me back to High Level? Sure. How ridiculous is that, right?
You're good.
But I think one of the other things that I would show you guys just briefly is, so what am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing, but let's do this. You're clicking on something down there. Whoops. Oh, no, wait.
Next week,
Sure.
I'll learn how to use computers, and then we'll come back up and we'll have you guys learn a little bit more about High Level.
Yeah, let's see what's going on here. I'm just going to refresh it. Okay.
I think Eric just wanted to see if I would make it through this.
And the mouse wasn't working. I said
I was
got a
like,
mouse.
he's like, there's no mouse.
It didn't work, so.
The last thing I was going to just show you guys is sites. So okay, so when I click on it, it does that. Apple.
Oh, yeah, it's how you're clicking on it, sorry. All right, what do you want to, here, show me what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
You just
so that
try
we
to
don't
go to
waste
site.
all these people's time. Yep, that's where I want to go to, is sites.
Oh, that's
Oh, good, it's not me.
It's maybe not you. I don't know what it's doing.
Can you explain it to us?
Yeah, I can. So I'm sorry. I'll keep moving. So in Sites, there's the ability to create websites, funnels. Funnels are how you would create like a landing page or a funnel to funnel people into your database. It allows you to create websites through AI, and then it also has the ability within the tool to also do things like, oh my gosh, we could be here forever. Like you can create documents, you can create contracts, you can create surveys, you can create quizzes, you can create communities. You can build your whole entire community through high level if you want and monetize it. So if you're interested, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but
so you want to show websites? Like you can build a new website.
yeah,
Funnels.
or any funnels. There you go.
Let's go to funnels. So there's templates.
Yeah, I just wanted them to see like, so funnel AI is in here. So for those of you that are like, hey, I want the AI to help me build the funnel and create that experience, there's that experience in there for you. There's templates that you guys can already use that are already pre-existing that will funnel those people in. But I think the biggest thing I would just leave you guys with is a lot of you were asking like, okay, how does AI really take full automation from start to finish, from the consumer going to a website or filling out information on a landing page to ending up where I'm sending them automated emails, there's my voice agents talking with them, and then ultimately the internal part of my ecosystem, my employees are being notified and they know that this customer is brand new to the business and that we need to follow up with that customer. So anyway, thanks for a little bit of time today.
Yeah,
and I appreciate it. So.
Thank you so much.
Can I take a second on it also to give an example?
Sure.
Yeah.
You can share an example.
For you entrepreneurs and things in there, what High Level does is, let's say you create it's called a snapshot, which is basically a template, okay? And all the people here that you don't know how many mechanics or HVACs or, plumbers and electricians and things like that, they're trying to get the word out. And to be in the web, it's like putting, a pebble in the ocean. What High Level does, which is amazing, is they have a program, they have a 14-day free trial, but they have, for 5 days, they have an AI employee that you can set up and they'll walk you through it, okay? And what it is you'll set this up so that you can, and it will automatically do all the socials for, you call up Bob's Plumbing, and Bob says, yes, I'll do it. It's $97 a month, okay, is what they charge you. And then what you do is you turn around and charge Bob $300 a month, okay? But you have it all set up so that all the plumbing businesses are now paying you $300 a month, and all you're doing is giving them a snapshot that says Bob's. Then it goes to all the socials.
Yeah.
It does TikToks. It does
Beautiful.
It does everything.
Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So we can, in the interest of time, but it is such a powerful tool. And that's where, obviously, if you're interested in learning more about it, because that's some of the things that DJ and I do, make sure to connect with us about that. Again, you can check into the community. I think the key is it does not take long. And you heard some of the examples of that marketing agency going from $50,000 to $500,000 in a year and a half. It's automations and tools that can help you achieve those types of results when you have a plan. And so I think it's making sure you got the core systems in place, the automations, the workflows, and then you start deploying those agents. Very easy to do, whether it's the conversational AI and those things. And it's actually training them on the processes. And that's where it's a perfect complement, because I nerd out on marketing and customer research and neuroscience and all those types of things. So, because anyone can build a funnel. But if you don't understand human behavior and cognition and how the brain's wired, your message isn't going to work. And those of you, we've got some amazing sessions, one on pitching later today, where you'll understand another layer of that complexity, something that we've never understood as a human race that's incredibly powerful in terms of how we're wired. And then ultimately, having those systems really unlock that scaling potential. And so what you can see start happening is over time, you get immediate value very quickly with these types of systems. And obviously that purple line is, you can't see the timeline at the bottom really well, but the AI revolution is clearly here. There's no question about it. And so our passion, and some of you have heard me share that earlier, is getting your time back so that you can live the life that you want to live and get to a point where you have these systems in place. Save yourself, what? Time, energy, money and stress. If that's one thing you take away from here, is a reminder. The next time you get stressed, just think, I wonder if I had a system, would that be a nice thing? I wonder if Eric or DJ or Mamie or they could help. And that's where, again, we really invite you to come into the community AI where we can share and continue growing and learning about these systems. We will have, and we'll send it out to those of you who check in and scan, we will have a webinar going deeper into Go High Level, because we couldn't do that in 10 minutes with DJ. But we're going to have an hour to go in and peel back the layers on September 25th. It's a Thursday. We're doing that from 11 to noon. Just a webinar, so you can understand some of that, and I'll share some other things about AI. So it'll be sort of a combined thing, and we do those types of things fairly regularly. Also, I want to put this out there. If you know of a nonprofit, or if you are a nonprofit, we've got a tool that we've built that is really helpful. We're focusing on nonprofits first. It's not that we want to apply it to other businesses, to really help create that roadmap and understand like all of the pain points from the consulting work we do with companies. We really want to make an impact, and we know many of you are passionate about whatever you're doing, and if you happen to be a nonprofit, I'd love to hear about what you're doing in the world and what your ideas are, because, you know, again, there's a reason you were blessed, I think, that with whatever concept idea that you have, and my goal is to empower people to do that, to bring it to reality and not take it to the grave. Some of you know that were here earlier will know what I mean by that reference. So again, thank you so much. We will have another session basically, but at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be talking about AI and social media and some of the really powerful tools specifically around social media that you can be using for that. We have some delay. Obviously, there's different restaurants around, and I know we said we're not serving lunch, but we do have food that is on its way, stuck in traffic. So we expect that to be coming in probably about 15, maybe 20 minutes tops. So you're welcome to hang out here, connect, collaborate, get a selfie done, and make sure you scan these check-ins and get involved with Igniting with AI. Thank you all, and enjoy Startup Week.
No more waiting, the moment is now.